Hello again. We are here to read more of this book. Ignore my, not sickness, but allergies. I don't like them. But I can't get rid of them. I'm not actually looking at the camera. I realized I was staring off into the distance. Anyways, we move on to chapter 1. We left off on chapter 1. We had just read through all of the letters, and now I'm here to stutter and stumble and fumble my words to the end. If I remember correctly, there is 8 chapters, so not very super big book. Only like 200 pages. We're almost 10% of the way there. Chapter 1. I am, by birth... I need more light already. I already don't like it. It's too dark in my room. And the light's too bright for me. I just need to be like that. I am by birth of Genovese. And they're a little... Anyways, sorry. I'm gonna get sidetracked a lot today. And my family is one of the most distinguished of that republic. I assume Genovese is a place. I do not specifically know, so. My ancestors had been, for many years, counselors and syndics. Not like the phallus. Penis. And my father had filled several public situations with honor and reputation. He was respected by all who knew him for his integrity and... I'm actually going blind. I've never once in any single sentence of college read this word before, so I'm going to skip over it because I don't. Indefatigable. No idea. Never read the word before, and it's broken up into sections. Not so you could read it. It's just too long, so that's fun. Attention to public business. He passed his younger days perpetually occupied by the affairs of his country. A variety of circumstances had prevented his marrying early, nor was it until the decline of life that he became a husband and a father of a family. Forever and ever, amen. I did unmute the mic. That'd be funny if I didn't. Just read that part. One of his most intimate friends was a merchant who, from a flourishing state, fell through numerous mishaps? Why not mishaps instead of anyways, into poverty. This man, whose name was Beaufort, from Phineas and Ferb. This man, whose name was Beaufort, was of a proud, unbending disposition and could not bear to live in poverty and oblivion in the same country where he had formerly been distinguished for his rank and magnificence. You win some, you lose some, die. That's how it goes, you know. Having paid his debts, therefore, in the most honorable manner, he retreated with his daughter to the town of Lucerne. I don't know why I said Lucerans. Of Lucerne, where he lived unknown and in wretchedness. My father loved Beaufort with the truest friendship and was deeply grieved by his retreat in these unfortunate circumstances. He bitterly deplored the false pride which led his friend to a conduct to a conduct so little worthy of the affection that united them. Never mind. He lost no time in endeavoring to seek him out, with the hope of persuading him to begin the world again, through his credit and assistance. I read books weirdly. I'm doing this so that I can read better, because I don't read enough and I need to read more. And if I'm in public, then I'm being forced. I'm forced to read in front of everyone else. Anyways, Buford had taken effectual measures to conceal himself, and it was 10 months before my father discovered his abode. Sorry if my S's are really strong. I try to move my tongue to the back more so when I say S's, because I don't want to have this really sharp S. It really annoys me when I hear it, and I figure it annoys other people when they hear it too. Overjoyed at this discovery. Really is just a really great start to reading this book. Overjoyed at this discovery, he hastened to the house, which was situated in a mean street near the Anyways, but when he entered, misery and despair alone welcomed him. Buford had saved but a very small sum of money from the wreck of his fortunes, but it was sufficient to provide him with sustenance for some months, and in the meantime he hoped to procure some respectable employment in a merchant's house. The interval was, consequently, spent in inaction. His grief only became more deep and rankling. Okay. That's like a phasmophobia name for one of the ghosts. Hold on, I'm gonna... This will be... Oops. This will be a little bit better, just because it'll be more light for me to see it. Only issue is that I have bad eyes and I can't read that well, so it won't change the quality of my reading. It'll just help me read. Consequences, spent, grief, rankling, dumb word, when he had leisure for a reflection. And at length it took so fast hold of his mind that at the end of 3 months he lay on a bed of sickness, incapable of any exertion. I should read the Bible, because this is the way my tata reads the Bible, and that's just, it's a better cadence for the Bible. I don't think it's a good cadence for this. His daughter attended him with the greatest tenderness, but she saw with despair that their little fund was rapidly decreasing, and that there was no other prospect of support. But Caroline Buford possessed a mind of an uncommon mold, and her courage rose to support her in her adversity. Yep, I read that right. She procured plain work. She plaited straw. Yep. And by various means contrived to earn a pittance scarcely sufficient to life support. Maybe have the old guy do some work, I don't know. Or kill him. No, I'm just kidding. You save up on food and money. You won't lay a finger. Several months passed in this manner. Her father grew worse. Her time was more entirely occupied in attending him. Her means of subsistence decreased. And in the 10th month, her father died in her arms, leaving her an orphan and a beggar. This last blow, when her father entered the chamber, he came like a protecting spirit to the poor girl, who committed herself to his care, and after the internment of his friend, he conducted her to Geneva Convention. To Geneva, and placed her under the protection of a relation. Yep. Sometimes I just think, like, it's a fun book. I'm having a fun time reading it, right? Sometimes I think words are just thrown together. In my mind, I just don't... Protection of relation. I don't get why relation is the ending word, instead of like a relationship of protection. Anyways, 2 years after this event, Caroline became his wife. Oh, cute. I think. Hopefully it doesn't end bad. There was a considerable difference between the ages of my parents. But this circumstance seemed to unite them only closer. In bonds of devoted affection, there was a sense of justice in my father's upright mind, which rendered it necessary that he should approve highly to love strongly. Perhaps during former years he had suffered from the late discovered unworthiness of one beloved, and so was disposed to set a greater value on tried worth. There was a show of gratitude and worship in his attachment, to my mother, differing wholly from the doting fondness of age, for it was inspired by reverence for her virtues and a desire to be the means of, in some degree, recomposing her for the sorrows she had endured. But this is a long sentence. All of this is one sentence. The sentence began at, there was a show of gratitude. It ends 5 lines later. I cannot believe that. I would be tried and murdered in college. They would kill me. This would be the end. Say goodbye. To be the means of, in some degree. I just zoned out. In some degree of recomposing her for the sorrow she had endured, but which gave inexperienced grace to his behavior to her. Everything was made to yield to her. Everything was made to yield to her wishes and her convenience. Sounds like a good relationship. Anyways, he strove to shelter her, as a fair exotic is sheltered by the gardener from every rougher wind. And to surround her with all that could tend to excite pleasurable emotion in her soft and benevolent mind. Her health, and even the tranquility of her hitherto constant spirit, sometimes going to the next line really bothers me, had been shaken by what she had gone through. During the years that had elapsed previous to their marriage, my father had gradually relinquished all his public functions, and immediately after their union, they sought the pleasant climate of Italy, and the change of sense and interest attend on a tour through that land of wonders as restorative for her weakened frame. This is really killing me. I don't like it being so far, but I don't like the light being blinding, you know. This back camera's not that good. It's not that good, so there's only so much you can do about it. Let's see. From Italy, they visited Germany and France. I, their eldest child, was born at Naples, and as an infant, oh, my girlfriend's gonna blow down the door in a second. I don't know if I was muted the whole time, or if I was not. No, I was muted the whole time because I could see them. Never mind. Anyways, back to our story. Muted. Realize. Anyways, can't do much about the glare. Just have to read through it, and we'll deal with it on our own. You can read it. Read it to me. Read me the book. Read it now. Read it for me. Read it for me until I go to sleep. Anyways, from Italy, they visited Germany and France. I, their eldest child, was born at Naples, Naples, and as an infant, accompanied them in their rambles. More like rambling, haha. Anyway, sorry. I remained for several years, their only child. Much as they were attached to each other, they seemed to draw inexhaustible stores of affection from a very mine of love to bestow them upon me. Oh, son of a bitch. No, my mother's tenderness, caresses, and my father's smile of benevolent pleasure while regarding me are my first recollections. I was their plaything. And their idol. Sure, yeah. Different time, but doesn't read well. No, different time, and thus it does not read well now. It reads really not good. And something better, their child. The innocent and helpless creature bestowed on them by heaven, whom to bring up to good, and whose future lot it was in their hands. No, and whose future lot it was in their hands to direct to happiness or misery. Misery fell on the town where they lost. Oh, sorry. According as they fulfilled their duties towards me, with this deep consciousness of what they owed towards the being to which they had given life, added to the active spirit of tenderness that animated both, it may be imagined that while during every hour of my infant life I received a lesson of patience, of charity. God, I'll read that again. I received a lesson of patience, of charity, and of self-control. I was so guided by silken cord that all seemed but one train of enjoyment to me. For a long time, I was their only care. My mother had much desired to have a daughter, but I continued their single offspring. When I was about 5 years old, while making an exertion beyond the frontiers of Italy, they passed a week on the shores. Of the lake of Como. Their benevolent disposition often made them enter the cottages of the poor. This, to my mother, was more than a duty. It was a necessity, a passion, remembering that she had suffered and how she had been relieved. For her to act in her turn, the guardian angel to the afflicted. During one of their walks, a poor cot in the foldings of a veil attracted their notice as being singularly disconsolate. I swear I was going to read it right the first time, but I read it wrong the second time. Anyways, while the number of half-clothed children gathered about it, spoke of penury. Penury in its worst shape. One day, when my father had gone by himself to Milan, my mother, accompanied by me, visited this abode. She found a peasant and his wife, hard-working, bent down by care and labor, distributing a scanty meal to 5 hungry babies. Among these, there were one which attracted, not the word you want to use, which caught the, no, there's nothing, anyways, which attracted my mother far above all the rest. Ugh. She appeared of a different stock. The 4 others were dark-eyed, hard little vagrants. This child was thin and very fair, meaning, I think fair means white or like clear skin or something. No, I'm just kidding. Her hair was the brightest living gold. Yeah, she was white. That's what's being described. And despite the poverty of her clothing, seemed to set a crown of distinction on her. And these ones are black, and this one's beautiful. Really got the opposite of the ugly duckling. Her brow was clear and ample. Her blue eyes cloudless. This is... and her lips and the molding of her face so expressive and sensibility of sweetness that none could behold her without looking on her as a distinct species. Okay. There's just too many hers. There's 2, which is too many in that sentence, and it drives me insane. And bearing a celestial stamp in all her features, the peasant woman, perceiving that my mother fixed eyes of wonder and admiration on his lovely girl, eagerly communicated her history. She was not her child, but the daughter of Milanese Becatrice. No, I don't remember what the thing is, but I really want to figure it out. If you know what I was just singing and you're still around, please write in the comments. Let me know. I'm so far over. It's kind of crazy. Sorry, I get distracted. We are 1 page away from chapter 2. I think we'll read to chapter 3 or 4. You know, we'll go 4 at a time. So there'll be a part 3. That's what we'll do. Flowing hair, she was a cutie pie. Meaty face and lovely eye. I'm singing because I'm trying to figure out where I left off. The time of death, the doctor said, time to eat, so he took a bite out of her face meat. Similar fixed eyes of admiration. Oh yeah, okay. She was not her child, but the daughter of Milanese nobleman. Her mother was a German and had died on giving her birth. The infant had been placed in these good people to nurse. They were better off then. They had not been long married, and their eldest child was but just born. The father of their charge was one of those Italian nursed in the memory of the antique glory of Italy. He sure was. One among the... I don't know why they have to write it such small writing so I can get my attention. Oh, it has my attention. Now I can't understand what I'm reading. This is probably a different language. That's probably why I can't read it. Or I'm just dumb, and it could be either, and that's fine. Schiavi Ognor Fermenti. I hope if someone's Italian and that's Italian or some other language, it hurts you. I hope it hurts. It'd be funny. And it's just like, You just grovel on the inside. It sounds like fun to me. Anyways, who exerted of who exerted himself to obtain the liberty of his country. He became the victim of its weakness, whether he had died or still lingered in the dungeons of Austria, was not known. His property, I was going to say poverty, that was wrong. His property was confiscated. Confiscated. I need to make that an image. That'd be funny. It's what is that called? Bon apple tea. Okay.
I'm gonna go upstairs and bake. I'm gonna make banana cookies. I'm gonna make the corn dogs.
Okay. He can be in my room if he wants to read a book with me.
Yeah, I can bring him in. I'm gonna get his food and stuff. He's a little stinky, but
Nah,
he did poop today.
leave him in there, and he's already there. I'll just meet him in a bit. My cat. His property was confiscated. His child became an orphan and a beggar. She continued with her foster parents and bloomed in their rude abode, fairer than a garden rose among dark-leaved brambles. Beautiful and white, like the gorgeous ancestors, not dirty filth like the monkeys. When my father returned from Milan, he found playing with me in the hall of villa a child fairer than a pictured cherub. A creature who seemed to shed radiance from her looks, and whose form and motions were lighter than the cameos of the hills. Cameos? Chameleon. Prince Julian. Sorry, I have an issue. The apparition was soon explained. With his permission, my mother prevailed on her rustic garden to yield their charge to her. They were fond of the sweet orphan. Her presence had seemed a blessing to them, but it would be unfair to her to keep her in poverty and want. When Providence afforded her such powerful protection, they consulted their village priest, and the result was that Elizabeth Lavenza became the inmate of my parents' house. My more than sister, the beautiful and adored companion of all my occupations and my pleasures. Everyone loved Elizabeth. The passionate and almost reverential attachment with which all regarded her became, while I shared it, my pride and my delight. No, that's right. There's a comma in there. It's weird. On the evening precious to her. On the evening precious to her, being brought to my home, my mother had said playfully, sorry, I'm not going to do that. I have a pretty present for my Victor. Tomorrow he shall have it. Promised gift. No, I went down a line too far. And when, on the morrow, she presented Elizabeth to me as her promised gift, I, with childish seriousness, interpreted her words literally and looked upon Elizabeth as mine. Mine to protect, love, and cherish. All praise bestowed on her I received as maid to a possession of my own. We called each other familiarly, okay, by the name of cousin. Sure, that works. No word, no expression could body forth the kind of relation in which she stood to me, my more than sister. Hate that phrase, it's so dumb. Since till death, she was to be mine only. Weird. My sisters can be anyone else's as long as they're good people. That's all that matters. Don't think I would. It's a different time, and I understand that's supposed to be like whatever phrasing, whatnot. So like, it's all pretty and stuff. Chapter 4. But I don't really care for how certain things are written. I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I swear there was a chapter 8 in here. Anyways, we're gonna read this much to chapter 4. Or actually, should we read through chapter 4 on and then stop at 5? Yeah, we'll do that. Put that there, so I remember where I was. I have just the most amazing memory. We were brought up together. We were brought up together. There was not quite a year difference in our ages. I need not say that we were strangers to any species of disunion. I don't think I've read disunion. Anyways, disunion or dispute. Harmony was the soul of our companionship. And the I don't know why anyways, and the diversity and contrast that subsisted in our characters drew us nearer together. Elizabeth was of a calmer, more concentrated disposition, but with all my adore, I was capable of a more intense application, and was more deeply smitten with the thirst for knowledge. Nope, I was about to read that right, and then I went, no, it's not right. She busied herself with following the aerial creations of the poets, and in the majestic and wondrous scenes which surrounded our Swiss home. What is it, made of cheese? God, the sublime shapes of the mountains, the changes of the seasons, tempest and calm, the silence of winter, and the life of turbulence of our alpine summers, she found ample scope for admiration and delight. I want to read this book on a lake, or just read a book on a lake. That seems like a nice, but like in the middle of the lake on a nice, like big canoe, something like that, you know? And you're just laying down and you're reading, and you have maybe like a tent. Imagine, okay, you're on a lake. There's no turbulent waters. Everything is fine. It is all good. It's a little kind of crazy every now and then because boat comes by, like sort of close. Sure. Boat comes by kind of close. You're like, whoa. But you're just reading a book by yourself, having a good time. That, or you're on a lake, and you have a friend, just one friend. You're hanging out. This will sound familiar to one person because they're a great friend, and I had a great time. And this 4th of July, I'll be doing that. We'll hopefully be doing that again. Hopefully, I can invite my other friend over. Just be a good time, just hanging out. I'll enjoy one-on-one talk. I'm so off topic. It's awesome. It's so good. I might go find food though. I am really hungry. I haven't eaten today. While my compensation contemplated, with a serious and satisfied spirit of magnificent appearances, of things, I delighted in investigating their causes. The world was to me a secret which I desired to divine. Okay. Curiosity, earnest research to learn the hidden laws of nature. Gladness akin to rapture, and they were unfolded to me are among the earliest sensations I can remember. Oh God. It's a cool pop. On the birth of a second son, my junior by 7 years, my parents gave up entirely their wandering life and fixed themselves in their native country. We possessed a house in Geneva and a campaign. A campaign on Belle Rive. No, never mind. The eastern shore of the lake, at the distance of rather more than a league from the city. We resided principally in the latter. I don't know if I'm too quiet or not. I hope I'm not too quiet. I hope I'm not too loud. That's the other thing I hope for. Anyways, in the lives of my parents were passed in considerable seclusion.
At 6:55, can you take the food bowl out of my room?
Is there any more rots?
That's why I'm making the notes. Go away.
It was my temper to avoid a crowd, and to attach myself fervently to a few. I was indifferent, therefore, to my schoolfellows, in general, but I united myself in the bonds of the closest friendship. To one among them, Henry Clerval, more like Henry Cavill. This isn't a funny joke. This is just changing the name a little. Henry Clerval, a bad name though, was the son of a merchant of Geneva. Why not? Never mind. He was a boy of singular talent and fancy. He loved enterprise, hardship, and even danger. Danger for its own sake. He was deeply read in books of chivalry. And romance. He composed heroic songs and began to write many There's a piece of cloth that fell down. It was black. I thought it was a cockroach. My room is clean. I almost screamed though, and that would have been not good for a sleeping video stream. Anyways, I'm on this page. He loved enterprise, hardship, and even danger for its own sake. He was deeply read in books of chivalry and romance. He composed heroic songs and began to write many a tale of enchantment and knightly adventure. Fun. He made D&D. That's what they're saying. No, I'm kidding. He tried to make us act plays and to enter into masquerades in which the characters were drawn from the heroes of... I've never read that. Of Roncesvalles. That's how I'm going to read it. Of the Round Table. Of the Round Table of King Arthur. There's one thing I don't like. I do not enjoy the use of so often throughout this reading. There's too many ofs, too many times where of comes in. I just don't want to read of every time I'm doing something. Anyways. Why did I go that way? And the chivalrous train who shed their blood to redeem the holy holy sepulture, because it's not scepter, holy sepulchre from the hands of the infidels. No human being could have passed a happier childhood than myself. My parents were possessed by the very spirit of kindness and indulgence. We felt that they were not the tyrants to rule our lot, according to their caprice. But the agents and creators of all the many delights which we enjoyed. When I mingled with other families, I distinctly discerned how peculiarly fortunate my lot was, and gratitude assisted the. You didn't know that when. I distinctly discerned how peculiarly fortunate my lot was, and gratitude assisted the development of filial love. My temper was sometimes violent, and my passions vehement. But by some law in my temperature, they were turned not towards childish pursuit, but to an eager desire to learn, and not to learn all things indiscriminately. I confess that neither the structure of languages, nor the code of governments, nor the politics of various states possessed attractions for me. It was the secrets of heaven and earth that I desired to learn, and whether it was the outward substance of things, or the inner spirit of human nature, and the mysterious soul of man that occupied me, still my inquiries were directed to the metaphysical, or, in its highest sense, the physical secrets of the world. Meanwhile, Clairville occupied himself, so to speak, with the moral relations of things, the busy stage of life, the virtues of a hero, and the actions of men were his theme. Semicolon. And his hope and his dream was to become one among those whose names are recorded in history as the gallant and adventurous benefactors of our species. Anyways, the saintly soul of Elizabeth shone like a shrine dedicated lamp. Yep, shrine dedicated lamp in our peaceful home. Her sympathy. Tough page. Her sympathy was her smile, her soft voice. Bend the page in the book a little bit. Just gonna fidget. Breathe. Sorry. I don't know why I'm this way. Help me. Her smile, her soft voice, the sweet glance of her celestial eyes were ever there to bless and animate us. Animate us. She was the living spirit. She was the living spirit of love to soften and attraction. I might have become sullen in my study, rough through the ardour of my nature, but that she was there to subdue me to a semblance of her own gentleness. I hate allergies. Really, really fun. And Clairville, could aught ill entrenched on the noble spirit of Clairville? Yet he might not have been so perfectly humane, so thoughtful in his generosity, so full in his kindness and tenderness amidst his passion for adventurous exploit, Had she not unfolded to him the real loveliness and beneficence, and made the doing good the end and aim? This is all one sentence. There have been several ands in here. This is why school should be a more fluid system and not so rigid, because it makes it so that people like me who are dumb read things and go, it's too many ands. You could put a period in here. You know what we don't need? And. Truth and. Love and. High and low and new and old and stop and go and hot and cold and John and Yoko, dark and light. It's almost time to say goodnight. Anyways, I just don't like, it's and of. That's what it's been bothering me. Too many ofs. Of this place, of that, sorry. I feel exquisite pleasure in dwelling on the recollections of childhood, before misfortune had tainted my mind and changed its bright vision of extensive usefulness into gloomy and narrow reflections upon self. Besides, in drawing the picture of my early days, I also recorded those events which led, by insensible steps, to my after tale of misery. For when I would account to myself for the birth of that passion which afterwards ruled my destiny, I find it arise like a mountain river from the ignoble, ignoble and almost forgotten sources, but swelling as it proceeded, it became the torrent which, in its course, has swept away all my hopes and joys. Natural philosophy is the genius that has regulated my fate. I desire, therefore, in this narration, to state those facts which led to my predilection for that science. Left hand's getting tired. This feels weird to hold in my right hand. Lazy little right hand. Science. That's where I stopped. Predilection, arise, mountain, sources. There it is. When I was 13 years of age, we all went on a party of pleasure to the baths near the Thonon. Sure. The inclemency, I should say, of the weather obliged us to remain a day confined to the inn. In this house, I chanced to find a volume of the works of Cornelius Agrippa. Okay. I opened it with apathy. The theory which he attempts to demonstrate and the wonderful facts which he relates soon changed this feeling into enthusiasm. A new light seemed to dawn upon my mind, and bounding with joy, I communicated my discovery to my father. My father looked carelessly at the title page of my book and said, "Ah, Cornelius Agrippa. My dear Victor," your name's Victor. My dear Vic, sorry, I'll read it from the top. From the tip. Cornelius Agrippa. My dear Victor, do not waste your time upon this. It is sad trash. Wow, Dad has some opinions on the book. Lay it out, Dad. I want to hear what you have to say. Shut up, Elijah. If instead of this remark, my father had taken the pains to explain to me the principles of Agrippa had been entirely exploded, and that a modern system of science had been introduced, which possessed much greater powers than the ancient, because the powers of the latter were chimerical? Yeah, chimerical. While those of the former were real and practical, under such circumstances, I should certainly have thrown Agrippa aside and have contented my imagination, warmed as it was by, by returning with greater ardor to my former studies, It is even possible that the train. I keep turning the book so I can get the light and whatnot, but I keep turning like this, obviously, because it's easier to read when it's like that. But if you see that and you see why I'm stopping, it's because I can't see the words anymore. It is even possible that the train of my ideas would never have received the fatal impulse that led to my ruin. But the cursory glance my father had taken of my volume by no means assured me that he was acquainted with its contents, and I continued to read with the greatest avidity. When I returned home, my first care was to procure the whole works of this author, and afterwards of Paracelsus, pairing, I don't know. Yep, and Albatross, not Albatross. That's different. Albertus. I don't know why I read that like that. That's really funny. Albertus Magnus. I read and studied the wild fancies of these writers with delight. I don't know why I stop and read it like that, where I do all this every single time. It drives me insane. They appear to me treasures known to few besides myself. I have described myself as always having been imbued with a fervent longing to penetrate the secrets of nature. In spite of the intense labor and wonderful discoveries of modern philosophers, I always came from my studies discounted and unsatisfied. Sir Isaac Newton is said to have avowed that he felt like a child picking up shells beside the great and unexplored ocean of truth. Those of his successors in each branch of natural philosophy with whom I was acquainted appeared even to my boy's apprehensions. I bet they meant boyish apprehensions, as Tyros, engaged in the same pursuit. The untaught peasant beheld the elements around him. I'm really just not doing so hot. I'm also really sleepy and really hungry, so those are my excuses, and you cannot make fun of me. You cannot say any comments, you cannot write anything, you just have to be nice to me. The untaught peasant beheld the elements around him and was acquainted with their practical uses. The most learned philosopher knew little more. Why did I stop and go to mess up on that word? He had partially unveiled the face of nature, but her immortal lineaments were still a wonder and a mystery. He might dissect, anatomize, and give names, but not to speak of a final cause. Causes, in their secondary and tertiary grades, were utterly unknown to him. I had gazed upon the fortifications and impediments that seemed to keep human beings from entering the citadel of nature, and rashly and ignorantly I had repined. I will be right back. I have to go do a thing for my cat. I have to go take care of him. I'll just leave it like this. You'll be fine. I grabbed my it's a sweater hoodie. No, sweater turtleneck. I just have to check on my cat to see if I'm doing well. He's going to the vet. He's not doing too hot. But yeah. Oh, he's doing well. It's cold. It's very cold. I might get a lemon thing too, so I want some lemon. I love lemon. I have so much lemon all the time. Lemon candies, amazing. Lemon meringue pie, love it. Lemonade, lemon drinks, lemon smoothies, lemon tea, lemon Arizonas. Oh, I should have got Arizonas when I was on my way home. Oh, dang, dang, dang. Yeah, my feet actually look nice and normal when they're in a nice formal shoe. Instead of, I'm not gonna pick up the other one because it's hurt. It's a little hurt. Please, don't bully it. Okay, I'm gonna go check. What happened? Robert, come here. Robert, what happened? I'll give you a blanket. That was my cat. He's very small. He's not eating. He's very small. He's my little buddy. Wish I get him to eat something, but I think there's something wrong with his mouth and eating. He's like as skinny as this on all parts of him. He's so small, and he needs to eat, but he can't, and he doesn't, because something's causing him pain. What that may be, I do not know, but I hope we can figure that out soon. I don't want him to be in pain all the time like he is right now. Stinks. But he'll probably be fine as long as we take care of him. He'll live for a long time. I'm gonna move his water back to his room. I moved it in here so that he could drink on it right here and lay in the bed. But something hurt him and now he really wants to get out. I don't know where the pain is coming from or what's causing it. I wish I did. I wish there was some way of helping him not be in pain, but I don't know what to do. That's how some things are. Just don't have the ability to do anything about certain things. This isn't a very long stream. I might end it. I might pick up reading in a bit. Just a little here and there. My mood has been changed a little bit, so sorry about that. Not to get anyone's hopes up or whatnot. I assume a lot of people enjoyed the first part, because there was like 15 views on it, and it makes me happy that people are watching for sleepy things. I like to make content that is very fun and boisterous and loud, but I also would like to make more content that you could just fall asleep to, and it's more comfortable. I don't really have any comfortable games to play though. Yeah. ba ba ba. Okay. I'm really tired. I think I'll probably pick it up another time. I feel like another time would be good. I really need to shave, because little spot where I don't shave for a day makes it look like I have this weird, like, bulging face. I'm gonna do that right now. But yeah. Otherwise, we can all take a nap. Oh. Yeah, we'll all just take a nap. That sounds pretty good. It's good to nap throughout the day, or get a nap in. Might not be the best thing always, but it's good to refresh your brain. Oh. Okay. That hurt. I'm getting old. I'm having back, knee, and ankle problems, but it's probably all because I fell down the stairs, so that's probably why I have new back problems that I just haven't had before, at least not as horribly. Good to drink water. Always stay hydrated. Oh, my mouse is still working. Actually, I spilled water on it. Just wipe it off. Yeah. Probably just end the recording. It's been a good little bit. Didn't get that far into it. Barely just got to chapter 2. We'll read more in chapter 3 through 6, and then we'll have a little bit left. But we'll have to do that another time when there's more time to do that. I hope everyone was having a good time. Hope everyone is enjoying these little, I wouldn't say readings, more like ramblings, and sprinkled with readings in between. I'll probably read this another time, more at night. It'll probably be like 11 or something, when less people are around making noise and less people are walking into my room constantly. Or I might stream just like later today. Who knows? Who knows? I don't. I know that for sure. But yeah, if you liked it, like it. If you didn't, it doesn't matter. It does, but just ignore it. Hopefully, you're having a good day, and